I just feel that every day I wake up and I'm removing the friction. And I guess it just starts with like asking the question, like, how do you remove the friction? So I'm feeling really good, and I feel just energetically, emotionally, I could let you know that it feels like some you know how you if you have some water with gas in it and you shake it and you open it up and poof, like it just explodes. Well, it feels like I'm releasing some energy, and I think yeah, I'd be curious to know your opinion. Why it just feels like, yeah, I feel like I'm releasing some energy, kind of, yeah, removing some of this task switching and going towards batching. Maybe the energy I'm releasing is being more in flow. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like you've been kind of keeping up this energy. Actually, this maybe you're at a point in which you're like leveraging momentum, and that is in exchange giving you more energy. That is giving you more momentum because I feel like you've been quite good at keeping up this pace.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing that is just, you hear about it, but it's one thing when you hear about, another thing when you put it in,
Yeah,
yeah, put it into execution. That success begets success, right? So probably when you do something, you start seeing results, then that gives you more energy to do it. But I really
yeah,
do think that the natural, not to get all woo woo and like mystical, but I really feel like flow is the natural state.
hmm,
And it's about removing as opposed to adding things to get in the flow. It's like a subtraction process, not a addition process, right? So you got to remove the things that restrict your flow,
yeah,
and what you have naturally is flow, just like a good conversation. And that's why I'm so focused now on really leaning into this whole idea of natural language processing. Natural language processing
yeah,
is about learning how to give computers instructions with natural language. And think about how
hmm,
powerful that is, because in order to scale, you got to give people instructions and you have to
yeah,
give computers. Most people don't think about delegating in terms of machines, they think about delegating in terms of people. Well, just like you have
yeah,
to be very deliberate and effective at giving people instructions, you got to be very deliberate about giving computer instructions. And if you don't know how to communicate well, you're not going to get the end results that you want. So the big thing that I want to focus on for today is
yeah,
I need to I really I really want to take that first step of the process that I mapped out and I have the graphic for. And then I need to think
yeah,
through it. Right now it has like 10 steps, and I have to think through, okay, how to reduce some of those 10 steps in the first step of the process. So I guess the word for the day is just, or the phrase for the day is just like workflow breakdown, analysis, and just simplifying the process. So, oh, and the last thing I wanted to say is that even yesterday after my call with you, I was able to take a session, and I was able to break it down. I should probably share this really quickly for you, and also to benefit somebody else might see it. So
yeah,
I was seeing how much 3 or 4 extra steps it was taking to like cue up my camera and try to record things on my computer, and then you got to save the files and you got to upload it, and then it takes minutes to upload the file. And so one thing I'm doing is that I do YouTube lives on unlisted, right? And then I can go back later on. And then the benefit of doing the YouTube live is that it's automatically recorded and it's already stored in a file. And I mean already stored in the cloud. So I don't like 3 or 4 steps of changing file names and changing the location and uploading it. Um,
yeah,
I was able to reduce, and we're talking about an extra like maybe 20 minutes of work every work day. Like that translates to hundreds of hours over the course of 2025 that I was able to save. So I feel
of
good.
course.
Welcome your feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense to analyze your workflow to understand the process better. Because if there's any simplifications to be made, those would definitely serve the bigger purpose of removing friction, which is what we're going for. So I think it makes a lot of sense. How do you plan on structuring this analysis session? Like, do you plan to use Focusmate? Will you use AI to break it down more for you and see like if you get if you could get some simplifications in places you haven't looked for?
Well, I do want to try to start using. I do want to figure out how to use Goblin tools, or again, thank you for that, or their equivalent
Yeah,
to. I think what I want to do to answer your question, which is a great one, is right now I just intuitively take like a pen and a piece of paper and I map out
okay,
what I do. And then I think what I can do though is once I do that, I can just put in a description of the workflow in Goblin tools and then match
yeah,
Goblin tools breakdown because Goblin tools use generative AI to map out their workflows or step-by-step tasks in completing something. So if I can compare my process to Goblin tools,
yeah,
then I can see where there's potential efficiencies, and then I can make the process. One thing I wanted to say though is what's very clear to me is that like there's nothing you're going to do on the internet in terms of what you create to sell product or service or what you create to market, meaning content that doesn't involve the digital assets, right? Like creating some text, video, audio, graphics. Like there's nobody or code, right? Like there's nobody doing anything on the internet that doesn't need to create one or two of those a day. Even video conferences actually are like, think about it. Like if you're doing it right, when you're having your strategy sessions with your team or whatever, you should be recording it
yeah,
and you should be reusing it. So the big thing for me is just to understand how to save all these digital assets and to start reusing them because that's where the leverage is, right? Leverage is you do something once and then you can use that over and over again. So I would say the theme for at least today and maybe this week is that I just really want to think through. Um, I'm already at the point now, for instance, I've got like, since we started doing this, I mean, maybe 30 something videos up, right? Like, how do you make those videos reusable?